And welcome back to Penalty Box Radio here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Justin Bradford, Glenn Blackwell. Super excited for our next guest, history-making guest as well, in so many different ways. The Seattle Kraken, obviously announced as an expansion team. The team name just comes about a few weeks ago, and then most recently they named Everett Fitzhugh the voice of the Seattle Kraken, formerly now with the Cincinnati Cyclones, a former affiliate of the Nashville Predators in the ECHL. And so we're really excited to have Everett on. Everett, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it. And I remember, back when we were the affiliate of Nashville and catching up with you guys for the first time a few years back. So it's good to be talking with you here.
Oh, absolutely. So I guess we'll start off with what's going through your mind and everything when you get the call, when you're named the voice of the Seattle Kraken. It's super exciting to see this and just to have all these things continue to mount up. First, knowing the franchise coming along, getting the name, and then now you get to be a part of it.
Yeah, I think for me the biggest thing was just a sense of relief, I guess, because I knew that this is something that I've wanted to do professionally for the last 13 years, ever since I was in college. So to be able to achieve this lifelong goal and this dream of mine of getting to the National Hockey League, that is something that, like I said, it's a dream come true. And this whole process was just so surreal and so amazing to be a part of. And now I'm happy that the easy part's done. They told me that getting the job was the easy part, but now the hard part begins, and I'm excited to start to get to work.
Yeah, and you speak a little bit about the process, and we see the natural progression that you took that so many broadcasters and announcers takes, from Bowling Green State University announcing in college and going to junior with the USHL and then making it into the ECHL, so taking that natural progression. So what was the process like to switch to the not just the pros, but switch to the NHL? What was that process like to go through?
Yeah, it was fun. My entire process, and if we want to go all the way back to college, it's been a long road. I did my first ever broadcast back in January of 2007, and that's when I fell in love with broadcasting and knowing that I wanted to work in hockey, and that's where I developed that passion for what I do. So being able to do it for 3 years in college, a year and a half at a league office level where you get to see the behind the scenes, the communications, the marketing aspect of it really puts things into perspective, just what goes on in some of these minor leagues and some of these junior leagues. And to go to Youngstown and get my first opportunity of working at a team level where you're in charge of all of the PR, the marketing, the social media, obviously broadcasting and things like that. And then to come to Cincinnati as a professional for the first time, that was an amazing experience, to be able, again, to elevate that game, my game, and to elevate the level and just see what exactly it takes to get to the next level and to get to the American Hockey League and ultimately the NHL. I'm very fortunate that I was able to make the jump directly from the ECHL to the NHL. It's something that doesn't happen that often. Most people, players, coaches, managers, front office folks alike, have to take that step to the American League in the middle, but I was very fortunate to be able to make that jump. But as far as the process with Seattle, it all started back in February. Ryan Clark, who is the Colorado Avalanche beat reporter for The Athletic, did a really nice feature on me for The Athletic's Black History Month series about me being the only black play-by-play announcer in hockey. That article came across Todd Leiwecke's desk, who was the CEO of the Kraken, and he enjoyed reading it. He loved hearing about my story and shot me an email, wanted to learn more about me and ultimately see if I'd be interested in a position with the Kraken and what they're doing. And obviously you are. Anytime an NHL executive gets a hold of you, you don't turn that down. So we kept in touch over the next few months, and then COVID hit. I was assuming that everything was going to be put on hold, and we would revisit this here coming up later. But he emails me again in May and says, "I know the world is turned upside down, but still wanted to know if you'd be interested in a position here." So that's when the official interview process started. So a few Zoom calls, a couple of phone calls, and a flight out to Seattle later, I was offered the job right after the 4th of July.
Wow. And Everett, I want to kind of dig in because Ryan Clark also wrote another piece about you after you were hired on The Athletic. And something that stood out to me was that the team wanted your fiance to be there with you because they said that this was not a decision that one person makes. And I want them to both understand what we are building here. And there was something really powerful in that statement to me because you are in the foundation of something new that's being built. So I just wanted to know what that means for you personally on a personal level, but also on a professional level.
You know, if I wasn't already sold on Seattle, that did it for me. In all of the conversations that I had leading up to that trip with the organization, you could really just tell that they have such a love and such a passion for what they're doing and what they're building. Everyone there is so genuine and so dedicated to bringing the NHL to Seattle and to doing a good job. And for them to involve Shelley, my fiance, in that decision was indescribable for me. They were just as concerned and just as worried about making her comfortable as they were with me, and they included her on all of the interviews. Todd Leiweke even brought her in to interview and said, you know, I would like you to join us because, you know, like you just said, this isn't Everett's decision. This is a family decision, and I know for the both of us, you know, this is a permanent move. You know, we're going to put roots down in Seattle. We're going to hopefully, you know, raise a family in Seattle and send our kids off to college in Seattle. So this is going to be a long-term move and a long-term stop for us. So we were very excited. And me personally, I was very, very excited that they included her in this decision process and were making sure that she was comfortable with the move and with everything. And, you know, she's been my biggest supporter and my cheerleader, along with my mother through this whole thing. So to be able to experience this entire ride with her has been great. And I know she's just as excited as I am to be beginning this journey and to beginning the newest chapter of our life together out in Seattle.
And you definitely match that same passion that you were talking about the Seattle Kraken have, which I think is just fantastic. Your energy is infectious, and you've already etched your name into households having been in Cincinnati for the last 5 seasons, and now you're going to be doing that on a much larger platform in the NHL. You're not only going to be a voice to the underrepresented community, but you're also going to be a very prominent face dealing with the communications department of the team as well. So how do you want to personally use this platform to help grow the game primarily to those underrepresented community? Because now you're going to be that guy that others are looking up to saying, hey, he looks like me. I'm represented here. Maybe I can do this one day too.
Yeah, and I think that is the biggest key for me. I remember growing up in Detroit. Obviously, it's hockey town, and the Red Wings had so much success, you know, in the 90s and 2000s. And when I was getting into hockey around the time of that back-to-back cup run, 97, 98, and then all of those rivalries with the Colorado Avalanche and all of that, that's when I really fell in love with the game. But I didn't have a whole lot of influences who looked like me in the sport of hockey. So it wasn't until I was watching an Oilers game when they played the Red Wings, and I saw Mike Greer, I saw Georges Laraque, and I was just floored because here is a sport that historically has been predominantly white. You know, a lot of black kids, myself included, didn't feel like hockey was for them. I didn't feel like I had a place in this game. And then when I saw those two, that really opened my eyes and let me know that there is a place for me in this game. And Anson Carter joined the Oilers a few years later. So now you had 3 black guys on one team, and that was massive for me. And that's what really started my fandom and my passion for the sport of hockey. So my number one goal is to be able to be that influence that I never had as a kid growing up. And I think I've always told people that you never really intend or you never really set out to be that trailblazer. But if you ever find yourself in a position where you can mentor and you can tutor and teach and help bring up that next generation of hockey fan, hockey player, hockey broadcaster, whatever the case may be, I think you owe it to the community and to the sport to run with that opportunity. So we had a very, very good opportunity in Seattle to help build this game, a very non-traditional hockey market like Cincinnati, like Nashville once was. And I really, one of the things that I've been so passionate about is bringing a little bit of Smashville to Seattle and what the Predators have been able to do in their community and turning this, you know, this honky-tonk country paradise into a hockey town. And I think think that we have an opportunity to do that in Seattle, and I cannot wait to get out into the community. We're going to go to every Lions club, every Rotary, every youth practice, everything we can find to make sure that we leave no stone unturned when it comes to bringing out fans, black fans, white fans, female fans. It doesn't matter. We want Seattle to be a hockey town, and we want to be a team that is not only representative of the city and the values and the beliefs of the city, but we also want to be an organization that is reflective of where we see the NHL going and where we see the sport of hockey going, embracing that diversity, that racial diversity, that gender diversity, and getting as many different backgrounds and voices and viewpoints as we possibly can.
Man, I'm fired up now.
I know.
I'm ready for this.
I'm ready now.
Dude, that is.
Let's get cracking, Everett.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt in my mind they've absolutely made the right hire in Seattle, because you're going to represent it so well, and you're exactly right. Grassroots is going to be so important in getting out there and growing the game, and that is absolutely what happened here in Nashville, and you see how it's growing there too. So before we let you go, because you grew up a Detroit fan, I grew up a Detroit fan.
Okay.
Being originally from Michigan, and you bring back the back-to-backs 97, 98, just brings back memories for me as a kid growing up as well. I got to ask, who was your favorite player, especially during the 90s for the Red Wings?
Oh, that was easy. Darren McCarty. He was my favorite Red Wing. He was gritty. He was nails. He could score a goal or two if he needed. But he was my favorite player. Obviously, you had the big guns, the Lidstroms, the Shanahans, and the Yzermans. But for me, Darren McCarty just really embodied, what I loved about that team, what I loved about being from the city of Detroit, that blue-collar attitude. Also, I was a big fan of goalies. So Chris Osgood was was probably my favorite goalie growing up. So McCarty was my favorite skater on that Red Wings team, and then I had a huge love and affinity for Chris Osgood.
Awesome. And I got to ask, because whenever we have a guest on that's either Detroit connection or a Russian connection, got to ask, have you seen the Russian 5?
I have not, and I think I'm the only person who has not seen it, but it is on my list, and I will definitely be sure to check that out here before too long.
You will absolutely love it. I guarantee it. Well, Everett, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations again. We wish you all the best, and honestly, can't wait to get up there to Seattle to experience a game and to hear you making the call.
Thank you very much, guys. This has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
There you go, Everett Fitzhugh, the voice of the Seattle Kraken, coming from the Cincinnati Cyclones. Again, a former Predators affiliate there, so a nice little connection there too. Really excited for Everett to take on this big job. The right person obviously was hired. Definitely the right person. You can hear the passion in his voice. You can feel it. I'm so excited for him. Electric. Love Absolutely it. Great.